from the very beginning, God not only led his people along, but he also taught them the way of salvation. The entrance of sin into our world brought gloom and despair and a hopeless, lost condition. But man was not abandoned to the results of the evil he had chosen. God had provided a way through the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world, who would pay the penalty for their sin and restore all that was lost because of their transgression. In order to help Adam and Eve and their descendants understand that the wages of sin is death, but that the gift of God is everlasting life, he asked them to sacrifice a lamb for the forgiveness for sins. This was to point them to the coming of the Lamb of God. They brought their offerings to the gate of Eden, which was still on the earth until the time of the flood. Perhaps it may come as a surprise to learn that the Garden of Eden remained upon the earth for a long time after Adam and Eve were expelled from it. But in Patriarchs and Prophets, page 62 and 84, we read these words. The Garden of Eden remained upon the earth long after man had become an outcast from its pleasant paths. The fallen race were long permitted to gaze upon the home of an innocence, their entrance barred only by the watching angels. And the cherubim guarded gate of paradise, the glory of God was revealed, and hither came the first worshippers. Here their altars were reared, and their offerings presented. It was here that Cain and Abel had brought their sacrifices, and God had condescended to communicate with them. When the tide of iniquity overspread the world, and the wickedness of men determined their destruction by flood of waters, the hand that had planted Eden withdrew it from earth. The sacrifice and offerings presented at the gate of Eden were like the ceremonies conducted in the outer court of the sanctuary, which came many centuries later after the flood. As they witnessed an innocent lamb dying on their behalf, they could appreciate the fact that Jesus was the Lamb of God, who died upon the cruel tree. He took the blame for all my sin. His heart did break in agony.
Offer up its gentle life with
The awful effect of Adam's sin.